order. Scorpio, this is your reading for this full moon in Libra. Excuse me, I'll just tweak the hair. It's all about relationships, really, about relating whatever's going on in your life. It may well be, there's a lot of stuff going on up there in the planetary kind of landscape. So I hope you've been finding the full moon a nice and lovely time. It is Easter, technically, where I am at the moment. Let's get your cards out, Scorpio, on the story. What is the story on the story? We're on the story. What is the storyline telling us today? And take what resonates, leave what doesn't. These are very general readings. Look at any other titles that might stand out, Scorpio, to you. And we always go through and clarify, so thanks for tuning in. I might get one more card here. Excuse me. So we come out with the great luminary of the moon. The moon walking through the valleys in the moonscape. We're looking at, maybe becoming a little bit more aware of some things that we haven't been that conscious of within ourselves, within our partnerships, relationships. There are some things that often are illuminated, obviously, at the full moon time. Things can often really take off. New things can occur. In fact, not just at an illuminating full moon time, but prior to. And of course, during and after. So Scorpio, the moon. Sometimes we're walking through that valley in the moonscape and it's pretty dark. I think in this reading for these cards here, I just see a Scorpio that's sort of shedding a bit of detritus and a few barnacles. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. You are riding that Wheel of Fortune in a pretty interesting way. We've got the Fool coming up behind, in front of that Fortune card. I think, there has been some level of overcoming of something that's held you back. And I do believe it is the mind machinations of the Nine of Swords, this catastrophic thinking card. Worry does no good. We are cruel to ourselves first and foremost within this card. Getting on that cyclical treadmill of worry, and it's good to have a level of control over this waking at early hours of the morning. I mean, there are a lot of things to worry about in this world, in our worlds at the moment, but one can't let that turn into kind of a tsunami that paralyzes you. Scorpio, I do think that you've really had a really good control over that aspect, because you have shared some things here at this time. And then we've got the Three of Discs, which is a beautiful card of collaborative efforts, works in motion, building. You embody the Fool, taking off anew, spurred on by maybe a notch or two up on that Wheel of Fortune, and you're spurred on, you're enthused, you're starting to see things in your physical world that is sort of saying to you, signs and signals, kind of saying to you, yes, you're on the right track, Scorpio. So let's clarify this reading for you at this time. Full moon in Libra. Hang on, we've got one there. Fell out. Just get one more. You can for the moon. So we get the Five of Cups coming out, a kind of lesson card. What's happening here? A lesson card, yes. Oh God. Five of Cups, you know, and the Thoth deck it's called disappointment because we're focused on those three spilt ones, but we've got two behind us. We know it's a shift in perspective. We can change, we can shift our own energy, you know. I think there's something in here that is what you have done. And it hasn't been about what you could see so much as a feeling, as a need and a choice to shift your perspective. We have the Two of Swords, a decision, not on what we visually see around us so much, but it is an intuitive hit that we experience here. And, you know, maybe this is sort of something that is coming up for you, and we have the new moon in this card. There's a heavy emphasis on this idea of it's not what you're seeing, it's what you're feeling. It's what you're feeling that you're basing decisions on at this current time. I do see it as overcoming because we've got the Nine of Swords again, this incessant worrying. How deep do we go into this worry pit? We go pretty deep, Scorpio. There's a point where we just have to lighten the load, you know. So, interesting, very good. As I said earlier, overcoming, getting rid of some old crusty barnacles. Wheel of Fortune for Scorpio, please. Yeah, there's something about your options opening up. Scorpio, Two of Wands. You can clearly see what your resources are, and that makes it easier to shift your resources because it's practical, you know. You see your resources, what you have control over, okay, and you can go on forward from that point. It's not that something is being done to you, it's that you take action and utilize your will to get things moving in the way that you want them to. You've done that. We get the Fool. You've done it. You're off on a new merry dance and a new journey here. Nine of Swords. So we've got the Fool twice. We've got the Nine of Swords twice. Nine of Swords for Scorpio. This new, fresh beginning. We're moving away from a kind of lack mentality, Scorpio. And whether that's lack in terms of what you see your capabilities are, or whether it's lack in terms of thinking that you don't have anything to work with, you so do. There's two. This is like, yeah. So we're looking at the Nine of Swords. We get lack mentality with the Five of Discs. It is a choice here. We also have the Seven of Cups, a card of assessment indeed, but having many options here. That's the thing that can create worry as much as excitement because there are so many options. And we will be making a decision if we've not already. I think you have. And it is largely about shifting your ways of taking things in so deeply, possibly feeling things very intensely, and forensically picking through them, trying to understand, is letting go of some of that. Sometimes we have to. But the glorious thing about this reading, and I will grab a couple from a couple of other decks here, the great thing is that with those two that came out, we've also got three that came out in a very tight little cluster. And these three cards are the Moon again. We have Judgment And we have the Wheel of Fortune again. You're really on the right path, on the right track, Scorpio here. And it's a wonderful thing. So let's see. Pixie and Fairies, Brian Froud Fairy Oracle. Oh, what can you give us? Geo the Slow, taking things one step at a time. Oh, that's such a funny eye. One step at a time. Have a level of faith here. Breathe. Geo the Slow knows that, sitting in his little patch here, knows that the sun's going to come up, that everything's going to be fine. Everything works in its own time. And what's on the, indeed it does, on the top of the pack was Nellis the Alchemist, timing. Breathe. It's all about timing, dear Scorpio. Act. We'll get a Kim Cran's Animal Spirit card for you. It's all about timing. And we can see, speaking of forensic picking apart of things, here we have the beautiful, I love this card, the little mouse that hears every vibration, sees every tiny little opportunity for a nibble, but also there's a lot going on with the mouse, you know. There's a speed at which it moves, even faster than our eyes can catch sometimes. Faster than the eye can see. Scorpio, maybe that's you at this time. On that note, have a wonderful time over this full moon, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Scorpio. Take care. Ka kite.